All right, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? I'm a little bit late right now, and today is Thursday night. It is 7 p.m. It's actually 7:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all forgive me. I've been having these stabbing headaches that I get at least 2 or 3 times a year, and they usually last about 2 weeks at a time. They're like, I'm fine, and all of a sudden I feel like someone just punched me in the head or just stabbed me in the head. And it's about a 20-second, about a 10 to 20-second burst of pain is usually happening about right here. Yeah, I've had CAT scans, I've had MREs and all this stuff, and the doctors keep telling me they can't find anything. I know there's something wrong. But anyway, it is what it is. And I just try and push through it. And that's what I do. But tonight is dispatch training. Last week we did the dispatch agreement. This week it's going to be on the rate con, because we're going to talk about what happens after you get the dispatch agreement signed. And well, we're going to talk about finding loads. Okay, yeah, you got to find loads and the rate con. So once you find the load, then you got to book the load, then you got to do the rate con and all that type of stuff. So I kind of misspoke. We're actually doing load acquisitions. That's what it's going to be tonight. Load acquisitions, not rate con, but load acquisitions. Okay, so let's go over how you all go to load boards and how you find loads using load acquisitions. Okay, so let's go ahead and start sharing my screen. All right, there we go. We'll start sharing my screen. Let me go here to our back office site. Let me go to our back office site here. Y'all give me a moment. Let me get into the right, what you call it, first of all. There we go. Now let me get into the back office site. All right, there we go. We are in the back office site of the National Dispatchers Network, where our students get to go and find stuff. Let me go ahead and pause my screen here for a minute, because we're going to go to one of our load boards here, and we're going to show you all how to do load acquisitions, how to find loads, how to utilize the load boards to find loads. Okay, and we're going to be using one of our favorite load boards, which is direct freight. Okay, that's what we're going to be using. So, but let me pause this my sharing here real quick, so I can go ahead and find these loads, get onto direct freight, so you all don't get to get my logins and all that type of stuff. All right, load map. Okay, there we go. All right, let me go and start by sharing my screen now. Resume sharing. There we go. All right, we're on direct freight, and this is where we go to find loads. Now, like most dispatchers, unlike freight brokers usually have contracts with shippers. That's where they get their loads from, direct shippers. And freight brokers can't use load boards other than to post loads. They can't use load boards to find loads, because those loads are generally posted there by other freight brokers. And if they did that, that's called double brokering, and that is illegal. They cannot use another broker's loads and then do a double brokerage situation where they're marking up the price or marking down the price of the load or whatever they get money, then they pay the other broker what's owed on it. No, that's double broken. That's illegal. Okay. So what dispatchers are the ones who use load boards. Why? Because 90% of all your loads that you are going to be getting for your carriers are going to come from load boards. Okay. Now dispatchers can utilize direct shippers. They can utilize direct shippers, but the majority of the loads you're going to get are going to come from the load boards. Okay. So, and one of the load boards that we give our students access to is direct freight. Okay. And this is where we go to look up loads. Now, you'll notice here, you have a map on this particular one. So I like the load boards that give you a map that gives you a blanket view of what's going on in the country. So you can kind of see what the load count is in each state before you even get into, going in and start looking for loads. So you know that if you got a carrier down in Texas, there's a good chance you're going to find them some good freight. Why? Because there's more than 7,357 loads that are available in Texas right now. even in Florida, 1,934 loads. You know, so you can kind of do a scan and kind of give you a general idea of what's going on in the country when it comes to load. Even Montana load count is very high now, 743. Look at that right there. And these are usually single-digit states. North Dakota, South Dakota, 500. You know, that's incredible right now. Okay, so you want to. I try to use these load boards that give me a map of the country, so I can kind of get an indication of what's going on, just from a snapshot, if you want to call it that. Okay, now after you do your dispatch agreement, after you've gotten the carrier to agree, it's okay, yeah, I give you a shot, do your dispatch agreement, then you want to go and start looking for loads. Now, the best time to look for loads, okay, is there are two theories on this. One is you get up early in the morning, 4 a.m., start looking for loads because the brokers don't get up. They don't begin their day until about 7 a.m. Most brokers come in about 6:30 to 7 a.m. and that's when they start their day. So some dispatchers, they like to look for loads like early in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. They get on the load boards, 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, they start looking for loads, right? Start picking out some good loads, and then they go ahead and email the broker, you know, and send them a message, letting them know that they have a carrier that wants that load. They'll even go ahead and give that broker the carrier's the carrier's DOT number, and they'll put their number down there for them to respond back, not the carrier's number, but the dispatch number for the broker to respond back. Okay, that way when the broker gets up in the morning, broker gets online, he's looking to see, you know, where he can post his loads. First thing the broker's gonna do is check his emails. He's gonna check his messages on his phone. He's gonna check his emails. Okay, so it's a good thing if you get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. You're looking for loads. You're finding loads that you know, carry a light. Then you go ahead and you can go ahead and kind of pick out some loads that's already available and go ahead and start sending the brokers the emails and making phone calls. You're probably not gonna get that broker there early in the morning, but you can leave a message. And I always click urgent. When they ask you if you want to mark this message urgent or just a regular message, I mark it urgent. So when the broker gets it, they're going to check their urgent messages first. You know, hey, Mr. Broker, I got a carrier that's ready to run that load number, blase, blase, blase. Give me a call back, such and such. The DOT number, you want to go in and check the carrier's credentials is blase, blase, blase. Okay? Then that broker kind of gets up in the morning and he calls all these people back on the loads that he's got already lined up. That way the broker don't have to worry about trying to find carriers to run loads like he would normally do, because he's got a list of carriers, a list of dispatchers that has carriers that are ready to run the loads. Okay, well, then he calls you up and say, hey, okay, yeah, that load is still available. Does your carrier still want it? Yeah, okay, great. Well, the carrier credentials, everything checks out. He goes ahead and then they send you over the rate con. But first, before that, he's going to check that carrier out. Now, some brokers require the carriers to be signed up to a carrier agreement, a broker carrier agreement. That's basically if their brokers never ran that carrier before, or if the brokers require it. Some brokers don't require it, but a lot of brokers do require a carrier broker agreement before they can give them a load. Okay, so they have to fill out that carrier broker agreement. So they're going to send that carrier broker agreement to you for you to fill out, or they'll send you a link to it for you to link to it and go fill it out online. Okay, and then once that's completed, then they say, okay, that load is ready. You can pick that load up and go and run that load, and they'll send you what you call a rate confirmation. But first, let's go over how to find these loads. All right. Let's say you have carriers in Texas. You get up in the morning. Now, the other thing you can do is like now, this time, 7 o'clock in the afternoon, 9 o'clock at night, whatever case may be, look for loads now. Look for loads now. That way, you can go ahead and spot those, because chances of somebody grabbing those loads tonight are very slim to none. Okay, so if you look for loads now, right, you can go ahead and a couple things you can do. You can go ahead and call the carrier, call the broker on that load and leave a message. Now, most of the time, brokers, a lot of times, have their their office number forward to their cell phone number. So there are going to be some instances where if you call at this time of the night, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, before it gets too late, a broker will pick up the phone because those calls are carried, they're forwarded over to them sometime. So for those of you who are not calling brokers after business hours, you might be missing the boat on the early bird gets the worm. Because when I was a broker, I had my business number forwarded to my cell phone number. So they were calling a toll-free number and putting my extension in, but it was sending those calls over to my cell phone number, and I look at my cell phone and decide if I want to pick it up or not after business hours. Most brokers are hustlers. Okay, they're gonna pick that phone up, if it rings, especially if it's call ID or if it's coming into the business line. They know there is someone calling about a load. Okay, so don't be afraid to call brokers after 5 o'clock when they normally close, especially if they have the extension on there. Call them up, leave a message. A lot of times they will call you back that night. Okay, you can go ahead and give them your DOT number. They can run the check they need to run right then and there. If they need to get a carrier broker to agreement signed, you can go ahead and fill that out and get it done that night and send it back and go ahead and get confirmed. And the broker will go ahead and send you over the rate con, or they'll tell you when I get back to the office, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you a rate con because all the other stuff is done. So you can actually be booking quite a bit of freight or arranging or confirming a lot of loads that night before the next day's business. So don't be afraid to get on there and do that this time of the night. Hold on, let me check something real quick. Let me check my YouTube channel and see who's on with us tonight on YouTube. Y'all give me just a moment. And y'all forgive me if y'all see me tensing up. That's because I'm getting these throbbing pains in my head. Yeah, I get these throbbing pains, in my head that at least 2 or 3 times a year, and they usually last for about a week or 2 weeks at a time. So I do apologize if it's kind of distracting for you all, but I'm trying to push through it. All right, let's see who we got watching tonight. Say hello to some people. We got 6 people watching. No one has came on and acknowledged that they're on tonight. So we do have 6 people watching tonight. So I want to thank y'all for joining us on our YouTube live channel. And I appreciate you all. If you want to chime in and say hi, whatever, hey, great. I love that. I love to acknowledge you. But thank you all for joining us. All right, let's get back to what we were talking about. Okay. Hold on here. Let me get back to here we go. All right, so we're in Texas. All right, and tonight it is 7:26. So here's what I would do. I would come on, let's say I've got drive-in, reefers, whatever. Okay, let's say if I've got a guy in Texas, and let's say it's a drive-in. So let's look at some drive-in trailers. Oh, y'all please forgive me. This headache. I actually considered canceling class tonight, but I decided to go ahead, along with it and kind of push through the pain. But it is what it is. We do what we got to do, right? All right. So all right, so here's what I would do. If I got drive-in carriers that I'm looking for loads for tomorrow morning, I've already called my carriers up. They shut down for the night. They don't have a load. They tell me where they're at. I'm in Texas, wherever it is, whatever the case may be. I look for the loads. If they tell me I'm in Dallas or whatever the case may be, I go in Texas. I put in Dallas, Texas, right? Then I'm gonna do my search. Got my van. I'm gonna try to find something close to it. So I'm looking within 25-mile radius, so they don't have to go very far to find loads. And I'm gonna look for the ones with the rates first. Now, here are the ones right here with the pay rates that'll show right now. Now, come tomorrow morning, you're gonna have a lot more loads on here. But tonight, you don't see very many because it's tonight. Now, come tomorrow morning, you're gonna see a lot more loads on here with the pay rates leaving from within 25 miles of Dallas, Texas. Now, if you want to increase that out, to radius of hold on, my bad. I did Dallas to Dallas. I did Texas to Dallas. That's not what I meant to do. What I meant to do was go up here and do Dallas, Texas. There we go. Do Dallas, Texas to pretty much anywhere. All right, that's what I'm looking for. All right, so I do that. Now it pulls up. Should give me more options. See there, a lot more options because I knew it was more than that with rates showing in Dallas, Texas. Okay, so there it is. These are drive-in loads leaving from within 25-mile radius of Dallas, Texas, picking up. So chances are they're going to be picking up right there in Dallas or very close to it. Like here, 18 miles, go down to Wilmer, Texas to pick up the load. 21 miles, 14 miles, 11 miles, 0 miles is what I'm really looking for. Those ones who are really, really, really close. But if my driver want to make some extra money, right, make a little bit more money, right, he can run down and grab these short loads like this right here, 18-mile deadhead, 34-mile trip miles. Now, y'all know me, I like short runs. Why do I like short runs? Because I can piece them together and come up with a good haul for that day. And there's a good chance I can turn those into dedicateds, which means I can put that driver, that carrier on that same load, those same 3 loads every day, 5 days a week, home back in Dallas by 5 o'clock in the afternoon, before 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and sleeping in the same bed every night, off every weekend, and make it anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 plus per day. Good money. $300,000 plus a year, upwards to $600,000-$700,000 a year contract. That's what I like to look for. Okay. Or not, but if you're just looking for loads that are paying decent money for that day, you can get these longer run loads like this right here, picking up right there in Dallas. Okay. It's going 749 miles to Dothan, Texas. Now, that is not a one-day run because the driver's not going to be able to drive more than 600, 650 miles a day. That's going to be a day and a half run. But, day and a half run to make $2,800, that's not bad. Okay, that's not bad. $2,800, day and a half run. All right. He might be able to grab something for the next day, but he's not. If he has something short and run it, but he's not going to be able to grab a comfortable load like that for the next day because it's going to be, that he can run and complete that same day. Because he's got to, once he runs, he's going to have to shut down for about 10 hours. Well, day and a half run, he's going to run, shut down for 10 hours. He's going to pick up and run about a half a day. And then he's going to have about a half a day of time left to run this load, about 4 or 5 hours left to run the load. That's not enough time, really. There's enough time if he's grabbing a little short load like this right here, a little 34-mile run or something like that. Yeah, he can grab something like that and run it. But what you want to do is you want to find them. I always look for these short run loads so that I can put them on something that's on a daily type thing. And this is a pretty good little short run load. But let's get something mediocre, 11 miles deadhead, 266 miles. He might be able to run that in one day. I doubt it. I doubt it unless you break the rules a little bit, run off the clock and still run. You might be able to make it. But chances are this is something he can run in one day right here. But all these are pretty decent loads though. Okay. So, but you got this for a for a drive van, it's pretty decent. $4.43 a mile, 14 deadhead miles, 181 trip miles. He can run that, get that, run it, and run that in one day and still have time to pick up another load, maybe. Okay, and run half that load that night or run another short run load. But let's just say we pick up this short run load right here. All right. It's 18 deadhead miles and 34 miles. You got to go to Wilmer, pick up a load in Wilmer. He's going to deliver it to Rockwall, Texas. Let's click on that one. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to basically call this broker. Okay. The broker on that load would be EPES Logistics. Go ahead and call them up, right? And you leave a message because you're probably not going to get him to pick up the phone that night. He may not, but you leave him a message. Now, you call him up, leave a message, and you're going to add a private note. Go down here, click, you add a private note. Just type it in right there. Add a private note to him. Let him know you got a carrier. that's available to run that load tomorrow morning when it's ready. Urgent, please give me a call as soon as you get into the office. I will be here from 5:30 a.m. until 12 o'clock p.m. Let them know that you're there already. You're in the office. You're ready to take a call, you know. Or you can also say, if you have time, give me a call back tonight or as soon as you get this message. Okay? That, and you can go ahead and type in your carrier's DOT number. My carrier's DOT number, so you can go ahead and run a check order, is this. Give me a call so we can go ahead and work out the confirmation. This business is not hard. It's hard if you make it hard. This business is not hard. If you do this a couple of hours per night, you could probably find loads for all your carriers. A couple of hours the night before, you can find loads for all your carriers, get ahead of the game before everybody else gets up in the morning, or whatever the case may be. Your loads are already confirmed. You know, all you got to wait for is the rate confirmation if you're waiting on that, if they don't send them that night. Okay? Let's jump over here, see if we got any questions. No questions on YouTube right now. All right. We still got 10 people watching, but no questions. Nobody's checked in. I appreciate y'all for watching. Okay, we got one like. But I do appreciate y'all for watching, though. Okay? All right. Let's get back over here. Now, also what I would advise you all to do is before you go ahead and line these loads up, I'll go ahead and put the message in, right? On this load right here. Let them know that they can be there early in the morning, pick that load up, whatever it can be. Then I'm gonna go ahead and do a reverse search. Okay, this is what I would do. After I left my messages and put my note in and everything, I'm gonna go ahead and do a reverse search and look for, you know, that load coming back the other way, right? So, but I'm gonna do this right here. I'm gonna put in not 100 miles. I'm gonna put in, first of all, 25 miles, something close to where he's dropping off at, right? And I'm gonna try to find him something that's not going, that's like within 50 miles of Wilmer, Texas, coming back. Let's see what we got right here on that. So we'll do a search for that. What do we have? All right, he can actually run 26 miles back to Dallas, right? Where he left from that morning to go to Wilmer to pick that load up, right? To Wilmer. He can run back to Dallas just 26 miles and then do 29 trip miles from Dallas to Roanoke, Texas, right? He's gonna make $500 there. He can do that one. And guess what? You already know that these are what? Repeat loads, because look at that. On the 15th, that's tomorrow. And then they pick back up on the 19th, right? Y'all see that? That's a repeat load. That's a reoccurring load. And it's always the same company, Coyote Logistics. So you know that is what's called a dedicated already, because it runs every day, right? It runs every day. You already got this load right here that you looked up, right? That Roanoke load, right? You know that one runs at least at one time, but I would ask that broker if this load is a daily run. Because if it is, you got this daily run, which is paying $650, and this daily run, which is paying $500. You know, you're looking at $1,150 right there already for the day. Now, if I'm gonna grab that process, you're gonna call the broker up, you're gonna estimate your time from here to here is just 34 miles, y'all. So I say an hour. Okay, I give him 2 hours to unload. Gets there and picks up that load at 6 a.m. in the morning or 7, let's say 7, let's say he picks it up at 8 o'clock. Let's give him some leeway. Let's say he picks that load up at 8 o'clock. So he gets there, picks the load up at 8 o'clock. He goes here, takes him an hour to go from there to there. That's 9 o'clock, right? It's going to take him, let's say, 2 hours to unload. Give him 2 hours to unload, okay? That's 10, 11 o'clock. And then from there, he's got to go how many miles? 26 mile deadhead, okay, about an hour, 12 o'clock, 12:30, and 1 o'clock to pick this load up. That's what I would say. I would say he'd be back in Dallas about 12:30 and 1 o'clock to pick this load up. Is that okay, Mr. Broker? Broker says, yeah, that's okay, cool. All right, great. By the way, he can be there every day at the same time to pick that load up if you need him to. You set him up. You set him up to have that load set up as a dedicated already. All right. So now he gets there, picks that load up between 12 and 1 o'clock. He's there taking about 2 hours to load, 2 hours to load. So by 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, he's loaded. Right? He takes off. It's 29 trip miles. 29 trip miles to run out. I'm sorry. You know what? That's a reefer. He can't run that load in the way. That is my bad, y'all. That is my bad. That is a reefer. That is a reefer. So he can't run that load. Dry van can't run a reefer load. Bad. Let me take that out. Let me take that out. Let me do another search. I apologize for that, but that was a reefer, and he can't run that load. And let's find something that's a little bit, go out 50 miles. So we got that's going out 50 miles on dry van. All right, here we go. Now he's got that same load going back, picking up that same load again. So you basically got to find some stuff that is, and not saying that you're not going to be able to find loads that are going to load this time of the night. All the loads are not posted. Now come to about 4 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m. After 6 a.m. in the morning, you're gonna see a whole bunch of more loads on here. So you have more to choose from at that time. But right now, you got loads that are picking up and going back towards Dallas, right? But they don't have the prices on them. So you basically have to call, let your people know that, let your broker know that you have a carrier that wants those loads. You give me a call back with the pricing. You leave a message for them in the note section. Hit me back up with the pricing. Okay, you're gonna leave. If you're able to leave a note, some of them will allow you to leave notes, some won't. But at private note, hit me up. Let me know what the pricing is. On this load, and there's a good chance they may call you. They may send you a text back that night. They may send you a message back that night. Okay, view all my notes right here. Okay, so they may send you a message back that night, letting you know what that load is. So then you can go ahead and say, okay, yeah, I want it, or no, I don't want it, or whatever the case may be, right? Or you can start negotiating on the rate. But my point is, don't wait till the next morning to start looking for freight. Spend a couple of hours the night before finding as much freight as you can and booking out the process. That way, you can go ahead and get that information over, and then they can go ahead and send you back the information on the rate confirmation and stuff you're going to need to be able to go ahead and confirm your carrier on those loads. Because if you wait till the next morning, you're basically running into the time. Okay, every other dispatcher, every other truck driver looking for loads, they're up that morning. They're looking for loads too. So I would actually start looking for loads the night before. Book is set up as confirm as many loads as you can, and then shut it down about, if you start at about 7 o'clock, shut it down at about 9 o'clock. Enjoy some time, get you good night's sleep, jump back up at about 5 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning, and start, finding the rest of your carrier's loads. All right. That's about it that I'm gonna do for the night. This headache is really, really driving me crazy. I appreciate those of you who tuned in. And now next week we're gonna do rate confirmation. I got a little ahead of myself. Tonight is not rate confirmation. Tonight was load acquisitions. Next week is rate confirmation. I'll change that in the when I do my edit in the title. So it's not rate confirmation. Tonight was load acquisitions. And I do apologize. I'm a little bit off my game. Because of these stabbing headaches that I get every year. Yeah, I know what they're from. And for those of you who are worried I might have a tumor or brain something, I I was in the military. I did 10 years in the military, 10th Mountain Division, and I saw 3 combat tours, and unfortunately, I suffered, a head injury that caused some damage that left me with what they call it's migraines, but it's called well, I get them all the time. Well, I get them frequent, every so often, and at least 3 times a year, 2 or 3 times a year, I get these intense stabbing type of headaches that go along with it too, where they're progressive, where they start off like far and in between. I get one like every hour, and then a couple hours later it comes up to like every half hour, then every 15 minutes, then every 5 minutes, then I get them bite to bite to bite, then they start going back the other way. Every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes, every 20 minutes, every half hour, every hour, until they go away. That process usually lasts for about a week or 2. I know it sucks, but hey, it's the only life I got, so it's the only life I gotta live. so hey, I gotta live with the cards that I was dealt. Yes, I do get disability from the military. I am a disabled combat vet. So, but it's just life. It just is what it is. But I want to thank you all for taking the time to join me tonight for tonight's training, which was load acquisitions, not rate confirmation, but it was load acquisition. And I'll make that change when I go and do the the edit. But I do appreciate all of you all. Let me go ahead and stop my share here. There we go. But I appreciate each and every last one of you all who joined me tonight on YouTube. Thank you all for tuning in as usual. I really appreciate it. I know I haven't been doing the load board reports because I've been waking up every morning with these stabbing headaches. And in the morning, they're just more intense, and I just can't really deal with it. But hopefully, they're starting to go the other way now. They're starting to get farther, not coming as often as they was, a day ago. They was coming like every minute, every 2 minutes. Now they're coming like every 5 or 10 minutes, which is telling me that they're going back the other way. So hopefully by the end of the week, by next week, I'll be over this and I'll be able to resume the load board reports every morning at 6 a.m. Thank you all. I appreciate y'all for joining me. This has been Calvin with the RBBS Logistics Learning Center and tonight's training, which was load acquisition for dispatch training. Don't forget to join me Saturday, 10:15 a.m. for the Brokers Hour, which is our dedicated broker training. Thanks again. Thanks, everybody.